Hey guys, so today I want to talk through our next cycle, which is going to be coming up on January 1st, the new year, 2024. So, as I alluded to in past videos, we are going to be moving to 6-week cycles for 2024. I've got a rough outline as to how they're going to be outlined and what that could look like. So, there is a plan for the year moving forward, an overarching one. However, I will leave it a little bit open-ended, recommend things as I see fit based on where our community's at and what kind of dates we put on the calendar. For example, like we always know when the open is roughly, but once that gets set in stone, which it is now, we can now plan around that. Or Memorial Day Murph, for example. Those sorts of recurring dates on the calendar are the sort of thing that will help guide our programming moving forward. So yeah, Mondays in this cycle will be some sort of rope skills. So a lot of people are still working on double unders, so there'll be an opportunity for them to continue to work on that so they can RX more of the workouts. And then for more advanced athletes, we'll be doing, leaving that pretty open-ended where they could be using a different rope variation, like a heavy rope or a drag rope. They could be doing crossover variations, things like that, but rope skills on that day. And then a clean complex of some kind, meaning that you're doing multiple reps of cleans and different variations, and that's going to be largely focused on a little bit of technique, but more so like leg strength development, but from the floor, meaning that we're not actually using a rack for our squats. And then the Metcon for that day will usually be shorter, higher power output kind of day there. Tuesday, it's usually going to be some sort of like longer, often like time-based task, meaning that it's like a longer AMRAP or longer intervals on that day, and it's often going to have rowing involved with it. And then either before or after, we'll probably have some sort of additional accessory work that's largely lower body related. It could be like a secondary hinge, meaning that it's like not going to be like a heavy deadlift or something, but something that is going through that hip hinge pattern, which just kind of like obviously target the hamstrings and glutes. And then depending what the workout is, the specifics of it, if we already have a lot of hinging, then we might go to some sort of other single leg activity that's a little bit more quad dominated. Probably not a squat because we already saw something like that, but it could be some sort of single leg variation like a split squat or a lunge or something along those lines. That again is a little bit more quality based on that day. Day 3, we have snatch technique to start off, and then intervals, which are going to be like more, I call them like rate intervals, meaning like the rate that you're actually going through reps. So like high turnover is another way you could think about that, where it's going to be simpler movements, often some sort of like a hang gymnastics and body weight implements involved there. And then again, because it's higher turnover, it'll also often be a little bit higher effort. And again, that work to rest ratio allows that quality to stay a little bit higher while you're moving through that. So that's our Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to be doing basically, I call it like aerobic accessory days. So aerobic accessory, you're doing accessory work in an aerobic format. So basically, it's a way to get some additional conditioning, some of like that accessory work, joint health type activities, as well as some other things that are going to help augment the other adaptations that you're getting throughout the week. So for example, if you're already doing, strict pull-ups on Friday, which we'll see are coming up, right? This is the sort of thing that can help increase those strength gains, right? It's no different than if we're already doing some cleans and some leg focused squatting on a Monday, then it's like, okay, we can continue to drive that up with some, lower body accessory movements, things along those lines, which help you keep things fresh, novel, fun, different, but also, again, help elevate the other skills while getting you feeling good to come in the next day again. So oftentimes that's just going to be a clock, which just means like basically moving through like quality work, or I might write it at like a 60% effort on those sort of days. Again, similar to what we've been doing on Thursdays. Fridays, we're going to have some sort of an overhead complex. Again, in this case, it will be from the rack, meaning that you're not having to clean it. So again, I'm leaving that pretty open-ended. It'll often be some sort of jerk from the rack. And then along with that, we'll also do some upper body strict pulling in those same intervals. So for example, you might do a set of push jerk and split jerk, and then you're going to do some strict pull-ups or like a lat pull down or some sort of other strict pulling variation during your rest time for that overhead. And then on those days, we're also going to have some sort of like more of I would call it like a tester. So something that's going to be more reminiscent of a benchmark or an open style test. Not always something that we're actually going to be drawing from, like not always actually open test, but that sort of feel, going for that. And then again, those are sort of going to be like more classic CrossFit in the sense that it's like going to be probably often in that, 8 to 15 minute time domain, often couplets and triplets, often AMRAPs are for time, like just sort of like basic structures that are often what you see for CrossFit. And then finally Saturday, as always, we're going to have that be partner based, or at least most of the time partner based. And then we have our first team throwdown on January 6th. So that's also coming up on the calendar. We got the Zor Athlete Camp coming up on January 6th and 7th. We have also our next boot camp. Stacey's going to be starting that up in the new year. So signups have been rolling in for that. And then Ergathlon will be January 13th, that Saturday. So again, that's going to be teams of 3, 10-kilometer row, 10-mile air bike. So you can get teams signed up for that as well. So that's our first cycle of 2024.